First up, we have Mr. Chris Gale from Latin Resources. It's not.
Thanks, Christy, and thanks for everyone coming along, and thanks to Paydirt. And Bill, thank you for putting it on again. Great job. We've got cows in our presentation this year, and I'll explain a little bit why there's cows and windmills there. Disclaimer for everyone to read a bit later. Latin's current capital structure is looking, we've got 1.6 billion shares on issue, market cap at $288 million, cash of around $4 million, and our largest shareholder, Mr. Jose Luis Manzano from Argentina, just exercised his options, and he's now our largest shareholder. I'm going to talk today mainly on our South American assets, which we've been operating. Latin Resources has been operating in South America now for over 12 years. We've developed some very good projects there, and I'm going to just explain to you in a little bit more detail, obviously, what we're doing there. So those areas that we're dealing is lithium, copper. Our only project here in Western Australia is our Gale and halloysite project, which produces a high purity alumina. So our strategy is to discover, delineate and develop mineral projects and commodities that progress global efforts towards net zero emissions, hence the cows on the front. And once again, I'll leave that to the end to explain that to you. South America, we're at a battery metals conference. We have a copper porphyry in Peru, which we were looking at drilling over the coming couple of months. We are the largest shareholder, and the reason why we became the largest shareholder in Solace Minerals is that we spun out our copper assets into that company over the last couple of years, and it listed on the ASX December 24th last year. We are the largest shareholder of that company. Our major focus at the moment is our Brazil lithium, which I'll go into detail shortly on those projects, which is our 100% owned Salinas project in Minas Gerais, Brazil, one of the greatest mining jurisdictions in the world. In Argentina, we have a joint venture with a group called Integra Capital. They are our largest shareholder, and we're developing and exploring our lithium hard rock projects in Argentina. A little bit on Brazil. Brazil is the world's eighth largest economy and Latin America's largest pro-mining economy and massive pro-mining jurisdiction. Obviously, BHP operate in there with Vale. Minas Gerais in particular is probably the most well-known and most highly productive mining jurisdiction in Brazil. There's a lithium hydroxide plant. Not much is known about Brazil and hard rock lithium, but there's a hydroxide plant that's been producing commercial grade lithium hydroxide for well over 20 years. Sigma Lithium really pioneered that district for hard rock spodumene lithium. In 2016-17, they started exploring through there. They basically put Minas Gerais on the map for hard rock lithium spodumene. In 2018, they announced their first JORC resource, which is 47 million tonne at 1.38% in 4 separate deposits. They're setting in 2018-19, we sent our geos out from Argentina and Peru to look for some hard rock in this district. We pegged a significant amount of ground to the north of Sigma Lithium. COVID hit us COVID hit Brazil in particular very hard. It's probably one of the biggest, I think they had over 500,000 deaths in a matter of months in Brazil, so it hit pretty hard. We had to pull our team out, and that lay dormant for 18 months. We managed to get back on the ground to finish off all our field work late last year, and we started drilling this year. So what we've discovered there is a significant lithium deposit in our view. We started a 14-hole program in February. We started to see thicker zones of the pegmatites, as we all know, known to pinch and swell, and we had some major significant results announced about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And some of those results were at 4.31 metres at 2.2% lithium, including 2.8% from 87 metres. In the second hole, these are the first 2 holes that we drilled. We received 8.3 metres at 2%, and we had a metre at 3.2%. Some of these grades you will not see in this country. We are seeing high grades in this district, and I've always said there's another Greenbushes somewhere. I don't know whether this is the one, but certainly the grades coming through at the moment, and certainly the market's reacted to those grades that we're showing. Incidentally, Sigma's a $1.8 billion market cap, so we're quite excited about what we've just discovered. The pegmatites, very similar to what we see up here in Western Australia. We think they pinch and swell quite considerably at around a depth of about 150, 200 metres, and we'll be putting results out next week of our next 2 holes. We're just on hole 11 now, so we should have that program completed in the next few weeks. We've just secured another rig in which that will be hitting the newly Untitled project that we announced yesterday was just acquired. So in summary, we will be absolutely drilling the hell out of this over the next 2 to 3 months. The objective, of course, is to announce and secure our first maiden JORC resource in this district. So the scale of this project, Sigma's projects are based over about four separate deposits, over around about, in total, around, I think it's around 1,500 hectares. So as we all know in lithium and certainly in spodumene, you don't need billions of tonnes of a JORC to get results out of this. They'll intend on producing around 220,000 tonnes of spodumene. They've started building their plant, and obviously the reason for their market cap is their DFS is finished and they're into construction now with their plant, which is exciting for us as well because Primero actually designed here in Perth, the consulting engineers, mechanical engineers actually designed that plant, and they're actually project managing that whole build. So it's great we got them on board in Brazil as well. So really, if we get the resource right, the rest will follow. So that's Brazil. A little bit on Catamarca and Argentina. Catamarca, incidentally, this company is the only company, Australian-listed company, searching for hard rock pegmatites in Latin America. The Lake, the Galans, the Argosies have all done a fantastic job with the brines projects in Argentina and a few others in Chile. Our focus, being hard rock guys in Western Australia, being the world's leader in lithium spodumene pegmatites and all the IP that we have here, hence primarily going into Brazil and building that plant for Sigma. We have all the IP here, so we decided not to worry too much about brines, but to focus on the hard rock, which we really truly understand in South America. So we're the only junior explorer that's actually searching for hard rock spodumene in South America. It was quite interesting. There's a couple of Canadians doing it, obviously. Sigma is a Canadian-listed company. So we did a deal. We hold over 70,000 hectares in a district called Catamarca in Argentina. We carried out some drilling in 2017, once again showed some really good grades through there. But we've now started exploring the Northwest Alto, which lot largest pegmatites. We hold a significant amount of ground in this area. Once again, COVID hit Argentina pretty hard, and it's really good now that we've got the guys back out in the field. We're starting to explore, and the idea for that is to obviously do our mapping, further sampling. We're doing a bit of geophysics out there as well with drones. We'll probably have those drill targets identified this quarter, and then move into drilling third quarter of this year. So another project Integra are funding this. They're putting $1 million US into initial campaign. So this is, and they're actually project managing this as well with a couple of our geos in Argentina. So our focus is really purely on Brazil now, and that's really working well for us. Our final project in South America is a copper project. This is a large copper porphyry potential. We plan on drilling that project over the next 2 or 3 months. There'll be 4 holes drilled. We've been working on this now for about 2 years. We have all the geophysics completed. We have the drill targets ready to go. I believe our drill permit will be approved this month, and then we'll move in there and start drilling that project. So this, as we know, all of our copper porphyries, high risk, high reward. So we're really looking forward to getting some drill bits into this project as well. Environmental statement, late last year we started our ESG process. We put our first quarterly report out in December, and one of the reasons of moving into the ESG side is currently there's more ESG funds sitting out there than there is ESG products. So one of the things that we focused on, and being in that mineral space where all of our minerals that we are developing are purely based for reducing that carbon emission. And I haven't got the slide here on our Meriden project, which is our kaolin halloysite project, because obviously it's a battery metals conference, but we are working with the university. I was up in the University of Newcastle last week. Halloysite, which, you know, as I said earlier, we have a 200 million tonne resource at Meriden. Halloysite's used, the laboratories out at University of Newcastle develop a product where they use halloysite, a few other organic materials to put in feedlots and spray on grass for cows. And that reduces emissions from cows, methane emissions, by up to 80%. So we're funding that to the tune of $3 million over the next 3 years, and that is quite an exciting project for us as well. The head of CRC Care, which is developing this product, was the head of CSIRO Clay department, and is a brilliantly, incredibly smart man, and we hope we get through on that, because this could be a defining sort of project for not only us but for this climate change issue. So ESG, once again, incredibly important. Just my final slide. Latin's market cap, as I said earlier, is about $280 million at the moment. Our peers have done a fantastic job, including Galan and Lake, who are Australian-based, and Sigma about $1.8 billion as well. So we think as we hit our milestones, develop our JORC, which will be our first major milestone in Brazil, we should follow those guys. And that's it. Thank you for your time.